Why the hell are you all laughing about the horses? Here's your damn road under the bunkers. It's impossible to move here with equipment at all.
A Russian soldier filmed a road in Kursk region. It is littered with destroyed military equipment, so Russian soldiers use horses as reportedly they attract less attention of the drones. He claims that horses on the front line are not a joke, but a critical necessity for the second largest army in the world.
Why the hell are you all laughing about the horses? Here's your damn road under the bunkers. It's impossible to move here with equipment at all. There's no electronic warfare unit, nothing at all, damn it. Here you go, look.
The Russian Defense Ministry's horse and donkey detachments may be reinforced at the front by tractor and snow removal combat brigades. Vladimir Putin signed a law according to which security forces are allowed to confiscate transport from citizens for the needs of the army. The list included passenger cars and trucks, as well as agricultural and municipal equipment, even homemade ones. The obvious question is, where is the Russian equipment? And maybe here lies the answer. Destruction of a Russian BMP-3 after an unsuccessful assault in the Lyman direction. Work by the 66th Mechanized Brigade. Russian BMP-type armored vehicles have suffered significant losses in Ukraine due to modern anti-tank weapons, drones, and poor tactical deployment. Many BMPs, designed for Soviet-era warfare, struggle against precision-guided missiles like Javelins and NLAWs. Ukraine's use of drones, including FPV and kamikaze drones, has further exposed the BMP's vulnerabilities. Open-source intelligence suggests Russia has lost hundreds, if not thousands, of these vehicles since the full-scale invasion began. Poor coordination and rushed assaults have led to high casualties, reinforcing the BMP's reputation as a steel coffin on the modern battlefield. Rubio is asked, what specifically do you want Zelensky to apologize for?
What specifically do you want to see President Zelensky apologize for?
Well, apologize for turning this thing into the fiasco for him that it became. There was no need for him to go in there and become antagonistic. Look, this thing went off the rails. You were there, I believe. It went off the rails when he said, let me ask you a question to the vice president. What kind of diplomacy are you talking about? Well, this is a serious thing. I mean, thousands of people have been killed, thousands. And he talks about all these horrible things that have happened to prisoners of war and children, all true, all bad. This is what we're dealing with here. It needs to come to an end. We are trying to bring it to an end. The way you bring it to an end is you get Russia to the table to talk. And he understands that. Attacking Putin, no matter how anyone may feel about him personally, forcing the president into a position where you're trying to goad him into attacking Putin, calling him names.
In New York, a rally was held in support of President Zelensky and against the actions of the Trump administration. Zelensky's head of the office, Andriy Yermak, says it's time to arrange a meeting between Zelensky and Xi.
Foreign Affairs. We appreciate it. We are very much interested to have the strong relations with China, and we think it's time to arrange the meetings between our leaders. I think it's momentum. It's momentum because China can play important role in the peace process.
Ukraine to receive $2.86 billion under the G7 ERA initiative. Finance Minister Marchenko and UK Chancellor Reeves signed the agreement, with Zelensky and Starmer present. The 30-year loan will be repaid using profits from frozen Russian assets. Funds will be directed towards defense. Also overnight, Russia struck a medical facility in Kharkiv. Russia launched a massive drone attack on Kharkiv overnight, at least 7 injured. A medical facility destroyed, over 60 patients evacuated, mostly bedridden. Homes, a car dealership, a gas station, and a hypermarket damaged. The UK, France, Ukraine, and possibly other countries will develop a ceasefire plan that will be presented to the US, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer said in an interview with the BBC on March 2nd. Starmer is hosting President Volodymyr Zelensky and other leaders in London to discuss how to strengthen support for Ukraine and ensure a just and lasting peace. The summit is even more crucial now after a fallout between the Ukrainian leader and US President Donald Trump in the White House. The British Prime Minister and French President Emmanuel Macron, who visited Washington earlier this week, are seeking to mend the ties between Kyiv and the US and present a united front on Ukraine and Russia. Speaking to the BBC ahead of the summit, Starmer said the joint ceasefire initiative would be an important step forward. After the heated exchange in the Oval Office, President Zelensky is rightly concerned that if there's to be a deal, it has to hold. That's why we've talked extensively about what are the guarantees. In what way do we all defend the deal if that deal is made? Starmer said. The UK and France have spearheaded the idea of deploying European peacekeepers in Ukraine to monitor a potential ceasefire. Macron and Starmer appealed to Trump to remain involved in maintaining a post-war order. But they failed to receive any concrete commitments as the new US administration expects Europe to take responsibility for Ukraine's security. The humiliating treatment Zelensky received from Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance underscored the growing rift between Europe and the U.S. While most European leaders publicly voiced support for Zelensky after the spat, Starmer called both the Ukrainian and U.S. leaders in an attempt to bridge the rift. The Prime Minister reportedly told Zelensky that fixing relations with Trump would be necessary to ensure lasting peace.
I've actually watched and seen the stories.
Senator Lisa Murkowski delivered a scorching rebuke Saturday of President Donald Trump's explosive exchange with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, a rare voice of Republican dissent as party members lined up in support of the president's increasingly combative relationship with Ukraine. This week started with administration officials refusing to acknowledge that Russia started the war in Ukraine. It ends with a tense, shocking conversation in the Oval Office and whispers from the White House that they may try to end all U.S. support for Ukraine. I know foreign policy is not for the faint of heart, but right now, I am sick to my stomach as the administration appears to be walking away from our allies and embracing Putin, a threat to democracy and U.S. values around the world. Wow! Listen to the massive applause Republican Representative Tom Suozzi just received in a +5 Trump district after he called out Trump's antics in the White House with Zelensky.
Listen, everybody's freaking out. Everybody's like, I'm Mr. Let's work together, let's try and find common ground. And what happened in the White House yesterday, I was so pissed off. Get that out of your system. I wanted you to get that out of your system.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comments section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. He's doing the job every day.